what I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's a large number of undocumented people who make up the construction industry here in California. I also read that California is an enormous illegal immigration problem. To what extent is that, first of all, is that true? Secondly, to what extent does that create an additional burden on California and its chances for recovering?
Well, as you know, we have strict laws here that you can't hire anyone that is here undocumented.
You can or cannot?
You cannot.
But there's no requirement to certification? Do you have to certify?
Well, there is some people that really are very closely watching that, and then others are not. So I'm sure there's people that break the law and all those kind of things. But the fact of the matter is, yes, it does have create an extra burden on our economy and also on our budget situation. But at the same time, that is not the reason why we have an economic downturn, worldwide. I mean, this just was a crash that happened worldwide. It had an effect in all the different countries all over the world. And now the key thing for us is to slowly rebuild that. It's not going to be the comeback as we have seen in the last recession. This has been the biggest recession in the history. I mean, since the Great Depression, literally. And I think that to pull out of that would take some time. I would say that at least in the next 2-3 years, we will be struggling getting back where we were.
One of the things that Alan Greenspan said today is that it was an unbalanced recovery. That people who are on the high income earners can get good stocks and buy good deals right now, but it's really the people at the bottom who are immensely hurting. And I'm curious. Is immigration a factor in this state that's creating? I mean, what would you do about immigration, illegal immigration?
Well, I've said this many times that we need immigration reform.
What would you do?
We got to solve this problem. Well, we got to go and make a decision so that people can come to this country legitimately, rather than having quotas there. So that, because we need the farm workers, we need the construction workers, we need to have people do certain jobs that maybe that you cannot fill otherwise. So I think we ought to provide that. We ought to have, for instance, immigration reform when it comes to students. I think it's irresponsible in a way to have, our students from all around the world come to our country, study, get their great education. Here we have the best university system in California in the world, without any doubt. And then
there's some states that may disagree with you on that, but
trust me, you can look at any
I'm
kind
teasing you.
Yeah. But the problem is that after 4 years or after 6 years or whenever they're finished with their studies, we send the students back. I think they should stay here, they should work here, and they should take that knowledge that they have gained here in California and put it to good use for California if they're studying here. So there's kinds of things like that that we ought to do in immigration reform, and it ought to be done now. We should not every 2 years say, well, this is not the right time, it is an election year, I think we should postpone it until next year. It will never get done this way, and we always will live in this kind of a chaos. This is living in denial, basically, like ignoring that we have this major problem and people are coming across the border. Not as much right now because our economy is down, so we don't have as many illegals coming over. But the fact of the matter is it's a problem, and I think that we ought to solve it.